Today we're checking out a bunch of knives from a company that I think is just killing it right now, and that is Kubey Knives. Now I have a 50% discount code from a particular site for any of their knives in D2 steel. I know it was not working the other day for whatever reason. That was not my fault, but it's working now. 50% discount code, anything on that site with D2, I have the discount code linked below. And then anything else on the site, I have a 20% discount code. So you have a 20% discount code on everything, and then a 50% discount code on anything in D2 steel. So that's actually pretty amazing. This is a very pen-like knife from them. And you know, so there's a lot of people that are really into the pen-like knives where the blade sits completely inside the handle. This one's very narrow. This one does use a button lock action, which my goodness is this thing smooth. Like this thing's on like another level of smooth. And it's because this is a relatively thick blade that's very narrow. This is not going to be a great slicer. This is a package opener. So you can use this secondary tip as a utility cutter, you know, to open up a box or whatever, but you have a nice straight edge. If you did have to slice something, you're going to have a lot of leverage all the way out there to the tip. It is 14C 28M blade steel, titanium handle, reversible deep carry clip. Nice little backspacer back there. And then it's using the thumb disc action, which, like I said, this thing is so smooth that once you break the detent, it's like the weight of this blade just takes over. But like I said, very compact, very sleek, very slim. And like I said, a lot of people really like the pen-like knives. Next, the Kubey Momentum. Now this Kubey Momentum also comes in a budget version in D2, 50% off. This one is the AUS 10, but I have D2 version, so there's a bunch of different versions of this. Can't recommend this one enough. I can't recommend this one enough, regardless if you want to go with the premium or the budget one. This, well, actually, because the budget one came first, this was one of my top budget knives for a couple of years, and still now, like if you ask me like what are the best budget knives, like just all in all, the Kubey Momentum almost has to go on that list, and it's because of its useful design. This handle kind of tapers down a little bit, which is just like your hand. You have this harpooned drop point blade with jimping on there that really locks you in. You can get up nice and tight to that edge. The blade shape is literally designed for cutting. And obviously not all knives are designed for cutting, but what I mean is that you can feel that the intention is there, where like when you're slicing, this thing's going to trap materials really well. You're going to be able to do utility cuts great. Even if you turn it around, see how it's like tilted forward? That means it's going to trap whatever you're cutting. So getting this for the amazing 50% off discount code for any of the D2 models is a steal. It's an absolute steal. Another thing this thing's really good at, look at the jimping on the front flipper. It's the exact type of jimping you want. It goes all the way up and around the corner, making it to where you can use the very tippity tip of the front flipper. And even if you don't and you use like the front, this thing is such a good front flipper. This is one of the best examples of a front flipper. And I actually used to use this one to show people this is how you do a front flipper. So very easy to use. And then if you're not a front flipper guy, doesn't matter because the thumb studs work so well. I don't understand when there's two different deployments and somebody's complaining that the knife has a front flipper. You don't have to use the front flipper. The front flipper is never in your way as long as it has another deployment, which this one does. And if you like front flipping action, especially great front flipping action and great thumb stud action, this might be the one to check out. M390 harpoon drop point blade. The titanium in this case is slightly contoured with this beautiful micro milling. TA hardware all the way around, and this is a titanium mill pocket clip that works great going through any jeans. Like even my super thick pocket jeans, this is perfect. Look at that cutout on the inside, exactly where you want. Lots of weight relieving, great texturing on the lock bar. This is an amazing knife. Amazing knife. The Kubey Momentum, they knocked it out of the park with that one. Next is the KU321. Also comes in a D2 version. This is a design from Collins CM Designs, and yeah, this one's amazing. It's so good for left or right-handed people because, well, especially this one because it is a liner lock, so you can, you know, put your finger right there because, you know, it's a liner lock, reversible deep carry clip. Most Kubeys do have reversible clips. Now, this one is the premium one. and it is super snappy. M390 blade. Almost, it is a drop point blade, but I like this drop point. This is a great drop point blade. Very useful for utility cuts. Yeah, the edge is not, it doesn't have too much belly, so it's great for slicing. The handle and size, it's small, but not small. Like it's a medium small, where it's a perfect size. Like you can see, I got a full 4-finger grip and I still have room. Then you have basically, I think it's a 3-inch blade, or at least 3-inch cutting edge. So you have plenty of cutting edge there to do whatever you want. And because the handle is so neutral, it works in basically any grip. You have a great front flipping action. Again, they did the jimping exactly how you want, all the way up to the tippity top and all the way around, exactly how you want it. And like I said, both of these amazing knives. This was one of my favorite budget knives for a long time as well. And then seeing them do it in a premium version, I mean, forget about it. The titanium clip works great. Again, cut out on the inside. Kooby's doing it right, guys. Kooby's doing it right. They do have a couple examples that we're going to see here in a minute that don't do the cutout on the inside, but for the most part, they're doing it. And I know that's the designer. So now, this next one does not have a budget version, but, well, I don't know. Does it? They have knives that are very similar to this in budget form. They might actually have a budget version of this. I'm not positive. If they do, I'll put it on the screen. But my goodness, is this thing awesome. This thing is done so well. It reminds me of a Ferrum Forge design. Again, this one does not have the cutout on the inside, but the clip works great. This does have the flame anno titanium with the titanium hardware. You know, I remember when knives that had titanium hardware, for some reason, the price just went through the roof. Kooby's been doing titanium hardware and giving it to everybody for a really good price. And it's not soft titanium hardware. It's actually good titanium hardware. The flipper tab on this has great jimping, great leverage point, great detent. Then you have the fuller and hole deployment that lands in such a great place where, like, I can even do it with my ring finger. I bet you I can do it with my pinky. Yeah, easily. Ergonomics, it does kind of lean forward, almost pistol-like, which is really good because that's going to help keep something with such a big belly into the cut, because even if you get to the belly, you can kind of cant it down like that very easily. It's just like the way it naturally does it. The tip is not the lowest tip, so you do have to raise your elbow quite a bit to get to the tip, but it's still going to work. And you have tons of belly there to cut down on a surface. Great geometry, beautiful sharpening tool and plunge grind, great texturing on the lock bar. Well, actually, sorry, it doesn't have great texturing. It's tacky because of the anodization, but great access to the lock bar, and has a nice little chamfer there. So it's very, very comfortable. Stupid smooth. Writing on ceramic caged bearings, of course. I believe all these knives are writing on ceramic caged bearings. Then we have the TITYUS. Now the TITYUS comes in a D2 model, comes in, you know, basically it has a lot of different flavors. This was a very popular model. This was best budget knife, I believe, when it came out. We used to call it the budget Arius. And now that you can get it in a titanium frame lock in 14C 28M blade steel. So with the 20% off, you can get this for like $100 or under $100. What? Under $100, or like right around $100. Contoured titanium scales with titanium hardware, TA hardware that's actually really good. It's good titanium hardware. It's not soft, it's nice and hard. Deep carry clip that is titanium, once again anodized, and a beautiful 14C 28M blade for around $100. That's amazing. You know, a Koenig Arius is going to be like $1,000+. Obviously this, you know, is no Koenig Arius, but if you have the itch for one, this is a really cool knife. No, it doesn't stand anything close to a Koenig Arius, but damn it, it's still really good. Perfect jimping on the flipper, great flipping action, great hole deployment, great ergonomics. It looks good, it handles well. It is a large knife, but they did a really good job with it. Next, this is a new one from them. I believe this is the KB259. Hopefully I'm not messing that up. Oh man, what was the name of this? Oh, this was the Blackout. I know it's not blacked out, but it does come in a blacked out version. But they did a really good job with this one once again. The cutout, yes, I wish it was on the inside. That is one of my complaints, but the Clip does not work bad. It works pretty good in and out of the pocket. Very neutral ergo, so this is a knife that's going to work in pretty much any grip. Great access to the lock bar, amazing texturing on the lock bar. Very, very smooth. The thumb studs just land in like the perfect spot. Like if I just naturally grab it, my thumb just lands literally right there. It's so snappy. So this is it's very intuitive. Like once you pick it up, like it's just like you can tell that thumb stud is bam, it's right there, right where you want it. Same thing with the reverse flick. And you do have the hole deployment, which also kind of lands in a perfect spot. It's a little small, but because it lands in such a perfect spot, it works really, really well. And, you know, the blade is, you know, a beautiful drop point blade. Not super thin, but also not super thick. This is going to be a nice, relatively tough knife for somebody, you know, who wants something that they can maybe be a little bit tougher on. Not crazy, because, you know, it's not a hard use knife or anything, but, you know, it's going to slice really well. You're going to be able to lower back your edge angle, put a nice low edge on there, and then the action, the ergos. It's not a huge knife either. This is basically a full-size knife, but on the lighter side of a full-size knife. So you can get a full 4-finger grip, but you do have a little bit of extra room there. So great knife, man. Solid knife. And then the last one, we have the Monster Dog. Now the Monster Dog, it's ugly, but that's also what's beautiful with it. These are some of the biggest thumb studs you've ever seen with amazing, amazing traction. So they actually work, and listen to that. This thing has a nice sound, very snappy. This one is their Damascus version, but it is a beautiful piece with this multicolored G10. Very, very smooth. Again, this thing, when you get this in hand, the action is ridiculous. And then you have these ergonomics that are just so comfortable in the hand. I know it probably doesn't look like it, but when you wrap your hands around it, you realize like that's like the shape of my hand. So it's very comfortable to push through materials. You have a sheep's foot blade, so utility cuts are going to be just fine with this. You can easily, even the slow roll is satisfying for some reason. Deep carry clip on this one. This one is a budget version, or sorry, a more budget friendly version. There is D2 options for this as well. And then this one is obviously the premium one, M390 steel. We have a titanium mill pocket clip. The cutout is on the outside on this one. Good access to the lock bar. They did put a little bit of texturing in there. Very comfortable to disengage. Titanium hardware. Great reverse flick, great thumb flick, great ergonomics. Once again, it's compact, it's chunky, right? It's not going to be for everybody because it does have that, you know, that look that's that either you love or hate. You know, it's kind of like having a bulldog or something, you know, which personally I freaking love bulldogs. So, you know, either you think they're beautiful and they're like the most gorgeous dogs or the most prettiest dogs ever, or you just think they're horrendous, you know. I personally love them. But anyways, that's what I kind of think about this. It's somewhat of a bulldog in knives. But anyways, there you guys go. If you guys like this type of content, I will put some cards up on the screen for you to click on. Don't forget about those discount codes, 50% off and 20% off discount codes linked down in the description. Work hard, stay tough. Until next time, peace.